Don't compare yourself to others. Use your own voice, because it is your own voice that will always be the one thing that you can go back to. Don't be judgmental. Just stick to your truth and go for it. I was born in 1975, and I'm a Libra. I was born in October, and I was born in a town called Reading. My mother hated exams. She hated that we would revise for exams. She hated homework. She hated anything that kept us indoors. She wanted us to be outside, climbing trees, digging for worms, having adventures, cooking, enjoying life, swimming in the rivers, swimming in the sea. She would say, oh, I think it's wrong. I think it's so wrong. All these exams, it's so stressful. And I tell my children now that this is what their grandmother would say. I just felt I had freedom to follow my dreams and follow my chosen path, and to enjoy my life, and not to be stressed. I was always the first in the sea, in the freezing cold English sea, in the winter. I was always the first in the sea. I loved food. I was always writing stories, always making up characters. I was always singing. I was happy in my own skin. I really remember that. And yeah, a bit of a tomboy, I think. And I was one of 4 children. And so there was just not the money to take all 4 of us children to go and see a movie. So when I was a teenager, the only actress I can honestly say that I was inspired by was Jodie Foster. Luckily for you, I remember everything very clearly. So an anecdote was that I read with Matthew McConaughey. He read for Jack, so we auditioned together. That was such a crazy experience. He was lovely. I remember him being really nice and really funny. And what else can I tell you? I was so nervous. I was really incredibly nervous. And also, I didn't think I was going to get the part. I thought, oh, there's no way. I'm English. There's no way. I remember thinking, oh, they'll cast like Winona Ryder or Uma Thurman. Like, why would they cast me? So I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when I got that part. I loved everything about that character, how she looked, how she moved, how she spoke. It was just so much fun. So yeah, I'd love to revisit that role. Can't you just imagine how crazy an older Clementine would be? Like, I'm so intrigued to know what happened to her, what happened in her life. And did she stay that kind of crazy and angry and eccentric? Did she stay that way? Or, I don't know, did she become more sort of neutral and plain? But I hope that she was still like coloring her hair a bit and wearing all those wonderful clothes. It would be so amazing to know what happened to her as she got older. I was nearly sick. I nearly threw up. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I can't speak. My throat went completely dry. I was like, I mean, it's the stuff of dreams, you know, for a young actor. I mean, I had dreamed about going to the Academy Awards one day. It was a dream to stand on that stage and to hold that thing. That was a fantasy for me. And so when it really happened, I mean, I feel like I'm one of the few people in the world who gets to actually have a dream come true. And that was a dream come true. It was very important to me to make her extremely real. As a woman in her 40s who has suffered terrible grief, I knew that would be a woman who would just need to look absolutely exhausted. and have such enormous sort of emotional range within her. So I am just so happy that people have connected with the character in the way that they have, because I really tried to create a woman who was so real that audiences should feel like they might know her or meet her, or, you know, she's so similar to so many people that I know. So I wanted her to represent, I think, validation for so many of us. It was just very important to me that those two faces were the same, the face on the poster and the face in the show. It has to be the same person. And it's difficult for people, I think, to wrap their heads around, you know, the people who work on the digital side, the creative side, and the marketing side of a television show or a film. You know, they're so used to making actors and actresses look their best. And I was like, no, we need to make me look my worst. Don't forget. And they're like, oh. And they were, you know, so happy to do it. But it was really interesting how we kept having to, like, remind people, like, no, she's meant to look bad. It's okay. I felt a real sense of their heritage and where they came from. And so many of the stories were very personal, clearly very personal to them. And that I felt was powerful and brave. And tremendously exciting, because that's what we want. That's how women connect, by sharing stories of other women. That's what we want to hear. That's how we will always be united. And that is, I think, the way of the future. I think it's shifting. I mean, I feel a younger generation of women, as you talk about that younger audience, they're just learning to use their voices in a much more spontaneous way, without any degree of hesitation or fear, or judgment. That's changing. And I think the more that we see of that, the more we have celebrations like this one with Lights on Women, the more we're walking in the right direction, and hopefully towards a much more equal film industry.